In 2025, American politics basically turned into a crossover episode that nobody asked for. Trump walked back into the White House for a second term, looked around at the country already hanging on by a thread, and said, "You know what this needs? More chaos." Institutions were already shaky, and now the guy who tried to break them the first time is back with a fresh set of executive orders and a grudge. The courts, the media, the deep state, everybody got thrown into the group chat, whether they liked it or not. While that circus was running at home, the rest of the world wasn't exactly vibing either. Wars in Gaza and Ukraine kept grinding on. New crises popped up from Africa to South Asia, and every time someone said the international order, what that really meant was no one has any idea who's actually in charge anymore. It felt less like grown-ups running the planet and more like a group project where only one responsible kid dropped the class. And underneath it all, the temperature kept rising. Political violence, assassinations, shutdowns, protests, and a government so dysfunctional it literally turned off for weeks because the people in charge couldn't agree on how to pretend to govern. One side swears democracy is dying, the other side swears they're saving it by lighting more norms on fire, and everyone stuck in the middle is just trying to pay rent and survive on the news cycle. So tonight we're asking a simple question. Was 2025 just another insane year in politics, or did the rules actually change? I'm Chris McIntyre, and this is Almost Above Average. And to help me unpack the Trump 2.0, endless wars, coups, shutdowns, and a democracy running on fumes, I've got the man who's been in the trenches with me all year, J Train. Get in here and tell us what the hell happened in 2025, man.
Where do we start this? We elected a guy who said he was going to be a tyrant on day one, and a tyrant's going to tyrant, and he tyranted on day one through day one. What are we on now?
Are we in month 11?
We're in, dude, you know that meme where they like, hey, we've got 5 minutes. Oh, we're 4 hours late. That's how I feel right now. Like, what the hell just happened?
Right. You know, and I was putting this whole thing together too, and I didn't mention the Epstein in it, but that's okay. We can do a whole other episode on Epstein. I've been doing that all week.
It has just been one insane thing after another on a speed I didn't think was humanly possible for this country.
Right.
Let's see. What do you want to start with? Dude came in and fired everybody. Government efficiency, insanity.
Sure. That sounds like a reasonable place to start. He came in and shook everything up.
Yeah, he said, oh, the government's inefficient. Oh, it's bad. We have all these people not doing anything. How much money do we save firing hundreds of thousands of government employees?
I think that number is 0.
Actually, the number is negative. Like, we lost, what, billions of dollars?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
And we're trying to scramble. And how many times did we fire somebody and then rehire them?
That's his MO. That happened in the first Trump presidency. Remember his whole cabinet? The same thing happened. Like, it's crazy to me that he still gets people to work for him knowing everything that happened in the first term. He got rid of everyone that spoke up.
Well, he's lining up for more shenanigans on that one.
Yeah.
What was the latest one I heard? He wants to military court-martial American citizens.
I didn't hear that. What happened?
And that's why he got rid of so many of the military judiciary and installed his people so he could, like the astronaut guy who told people not to obey legal orders. Now he wants to court-martial them.
Yeah. That sounds about right.
All right. Immigration machine ramps up fast. Mass deportations isn't just a rally chant anymore. Families, border towns, and big cities all feel it.
Which one are you at?
I have it as the next thing on the list. Late winter. You have a slightly different script than me, too.
Yeah, because I rewrote it a couple times. We don't have to go off the script. We can just...
No, I'm fine with doing that. Like, the order, I think, is pretty cool. So, yeah, immigration machine. That is some bullshit.
Yeah. It's pretty much hell going on out here in the country right now. There's more and more videos every single day of these ICE deportations, but it looks like I get the sense that the American people are getting sick of it because they're starting to fight back a little bit and they're starting to protest even harder and non-violently, but harder. Like I saw this video just before we hopped on that there's these like organizations in different cities that when they see ICE operations going down, they just follow them around and alert everybody. And I love that. If you're one of those organizations, I love that. Come on the podcast and tell me about it. Because fuck ICE.
Well, I think there's a second level people need to be really paying attention to, and that is the denaturalization. And when you add both of these things together, we are in for a mess.
Definitely.
So I think the cadence, if I understand correctly, is get rid of the illegals that are dangerous, which they did a little bit of. Get
Did
rid
they?
of the illegals that are being nice here and helping the country. Now they're starting to denaturalize people and get them out of here who had naturalization processes through means that they didn't think was valid.
Like
Like, oh,
what?
you're from a war torn country. Here, be safe. Get rid of those guys, let them die.
I'm
And
sure that the qualifier in that is if their skin is brown.
well, not necessarily. Remember what happened to Rosie O'Donnell?
True. And I did see another video about a lady from the UK who was deported, and a lady from Scotland.
Yeah, so it's now the white people that are at risk. And my long term projection is that he's going to use it against everybody he thinks is a threat to his Republican agenda, his MAGA agenda, like us.
Yeah. That was one of the first things that he started when he jumped back into office, right?
Mm-hmm.
That was what his platform was. I'm going to get rid of all the brown people, but he said criminals.
Well, in his mind, anybody that's not MAGA is a criminal. Um, I think there's also a lot of people need to really be paying attention to that cascade that we've talked about numerous times, which is first it started with this group and then it moved to this group and now there's nobody left for me. And we've talked about that a few times. And
Right.
it's the same thing that they uttered in Germany.
Yeah.
And
Everything that happened in Germany is exactly what's happening now.
well, I mean, he did have the Hitler playbook sitting on his nightstand apparently.
And there is a alarming amount of Nazi apologists in the MAGA party in particular, and the Groyper movement.
What's the joke? If you don't support Nazis, why do so many of them join your party? Like, ask yourself that. And back to the immigration thing, a lot of the Proud Boys have been very quiet lately. I wonder why. Because they're ICE now.
Yeah, that makes sense. I'm sure.
Right. And for those who haven't heard, Dave Chappelle just did a new special, and he talks about ICE coming to his town in Ohio and what he was doing about it. So that's a really interesting call out that is now available on Netflix.
I didn't hear this. What happened? What did he say?
He talked about the National Guard getting deployed to his hometown.
Was
And
he anti that, or was he for that?
Anti.
Thank you, Dave Chappelle. I still love you.
The term he used was taking the chocolate out of Chocolate City. And the reason he said it that way is he's been spending a lot of time using his Netflix money to buy up most of the businesses in his town. And if he leaves, that town's
Dave Chappelle, the hometown hero. That he's protecting the people from his own government, our own government. That is pathetic. All right, so Trump gets into office. He starts this crazy ICE deportation scheme. What else happened at the beginning?
All the Americans that got arrested, Abreu Garcia, back, gone, back, gone, back, gone.
Where's his status right now? Because he's been back in the news lately, and it sounds like the Kristi Noem got slaughtered in her Senate hearing.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that think that Trump's going to roll her under the bus and just move on.
Oh, for sure. She's out the door. Kash Patel's out the door. Pam Bondi, as soon as they've served up all their purpose, I think they're all riding that line where they're all producing a lot of negative attention for the regime. I think they're getting close.
The thing that makes me the most scared, and a lot of people don't really think about this, is these guys are clowns in my mind. Kash Patel always look like your video of him looking weird was hilarious. But
it's going viral right now.
These people are just not high quality employees in my mind. What happens when he gets somebody with less ethicals, values, less morals, but cunning, smarter, more capable, more willing to do the wrong things but can toe the line in front of everybody in a better way, or hold the direction that Trump wants without bending and breaking and making the mistakes that the current administration is doing? What happens when the real evil surfaces and takes over control?
Their job is to maintain the narrative and still do a good job, like not give negative attention to the Trump administration. But they're all failing in that because everything they do is a crime. Like all of it is a crime.
Only a crime if somebody will do something about it.
Yeah. So we
And
got the
as Trump
tariffs.
said,
Tariffs are affecting everyone this year. I imagine everyone's feeling it now.
well, what did Trump say? I am in charge of everything. I say what is legal and illegal. So if he does it and his people do it, is it illegal? I mean, if it's against the Constitution, does that mean it's illegal? If we have
Well, it
laws
does, but not
against
to
it,
this regime.
Constitution means nothing to this regime.
Yeah.
All right, spring, money markets and migrants. Trump slaps broad new tariffs on import. Oh my God, this just keeps getting worse. I have so much PTSD around so much of this stuff. I've like forgotten it and focused on the new things. You go back and revisit, it's like,
Yeah.
fudge. Anyway, Trump slaps broad new tariffs on imports, and suddenly Wall Street, farmers, and small businesses are all wondering who's actually getting protected here.
Guilty. I told this story a couple times already, but I own a small business that started this year. And the beginning of my business, I got my prices from my supplier. Awesome. A month later, when the tariffs went into effect, everything on my list went up 20%. So I lost profit immediately right after starting my business.
And we've heard about business after business after business after business going out of business, seeing significant price or reductions in profit, having
Jobs
to
report?
Apple showing up with that golden thing, Nvidia showing up with their golden stuff, FIFA showing up with their golden prize, company after company literally bringing gold and setting it at the king's feet in order to gain favor and bypass the shitty laws that he has passed that is hurting their companies. They are paying gold to get around the laws that we can't.
And at the same time, stories start breaking out about migrants being fast-tracked out of the country and dumped into brutal detention setups abroad. Human rights groups and watchdogs lose their minds over it, like Alligator Alcatraz down in Florida, which looks more like a prison in an island surrounded by a marsh. And the whole selling point of Alligator Alcatraz, Donald Trump said it himself, and then all his minions started saying it after that, is that, you know, the good thing about people being here is that they can't go anywhere. And if they get out, they get eaten by an alligator. Like a dumb fucking idiot thought.
How many times did they joke about that? Like, they were there in person joking about it in front of the captives, the prisoners, the slaves. They were joking about it. And then they talked about making a TV show out of it. And then they said, well, maybe we'll just lose a few and we'll get rid of them that way. This is not how you treat humans. This is not due process. This is counter to all of our laws, and nobody has been held accountable. A judge had to step in and shut it down, and they got mad at that judge for telling them they broke the law and are killing people. According to NPR, 20 people or more have died in ICE custody as of October 3rd, over 2 months ago. Well, that's at least. How do you lose them? Okay, so like legit tinfoil hat moment. I have seriously considered and wonder if we're not tearing these people physically apart, stealing their organs and selling it to the rich across the planet. Like, have you ever seen the movie The Island? We're doing that. I think there's an actual real chance here. If people are just going missing and we don't know where they are and can't find them, the records are just gone. We're in a Schrodinger's cat territory, and we can assume that they're safe on an island. We can assume that they've been deported, and we can assume that they've been organ harvested all at the same time due to Schrodinger's effect. So I'm going to butcher this. Forgive me, everybody's watching this, but Schrodinger had this theory about the undeserved effects of something being a superposition where both things can be true at the same time. So his experiment was to put a poison, I don't remember if it was a gas or something, in a box, put an animal, I thought it was a cat. Yeah, Schrodinger's cat. Put a cat in the box. And at any time, the cat is both alive and dead because we haven't checked to see which one it is. It's a super state of both things being true while neither can be true, or only one of those in reality can be true. So it's a superposition. It both made a sound and didn't make a sound at the same time because we don't know. That's exactly. Well, you can't say that it didn't either. And that's the point. Fix the camera. So for the prisoners that have banished, just like the kids in Russia that banished the Ukrainian kids, I'm specifically saying, like they could be killed, they could be organ harvested, they could be sex trafficked, they could be sitting in a prison, they could be dead from that Venezuela prison that, oh man, did you see the pictures from that? Well, no, where was that prison that they said or that Garcia guy? Huh? Yeah. So El Salvador, it's supposed to be one of the most brutal. I read that it was one of the most brutal prisons in the world, and people were going and getting satellite photos of it, and the blood stains outside the building were changing every time they looked at it, and they were wondering if people are going out there and just getting slaughtered in order to keep the population down and under control. People are just dying. But yeah, like tinfoil hat, organ harvesting, sure, why not? I have zero proof of that, but that sounds like something that could happen. So Hot Mike catches China's leader Xi and Russian leader Putin discussing organ transplants as a means of immortality. So when you add those two things together, viewers, I mean, hey, I think we should do an OnlyFans where we just come up with these theories and post them and let people get in on it. So yeah, that's crazy. All right. Next, court judges keep smacking down pieces of the 2025 agenda, and the White House uses every ruling as fresh fuel for the deep state versus the people narrative. Yeah. So I have a real big problem with that because a lot of these judges are actually Trump appointed or Republican. Like, who's the deep state? So, or what we did with the term woke, which is it means anything we don't like. So deep state is everybody we don't like. Sounds fair to me. Yeah. You want to do it? Or can you walk me through that event? It's been so long, I've forgotten about it. So what did Trump tell Governor Walz about that horrible incident? Did he call and give his condolences for the death of these two people? What did he say on live TV? It would be a waste of time. Yeah, it was a waste of time to talk to Democrats about their recent assassinations at the hand of a MAGA assassin. What a world we live in. I don't know, man. What happened? Oh, yeah. So that was that was when we had the parade, wasn't it? The military parade. And what happened? It rained. Nobody showed up. And it was like you could watch him. He was furious until he fell asleep. But what was it? How many millions of people showed up for the No Kings protest on October 18th? 7 million people showed up. Good. I've talked to a few of the people. It's an interesting group. But the fact that not only did the No Kings thing happen on his birthday and nobody showed up to his parade was just incredible. And I love that he used pictures of the No Kings protest for saying that they showed up for his birthday. All right. So now we get into Trump leans even harder into law and order by sending guards the National Guard troops to D.C., threatening more deployments to blue cities. Courts and locals push back hard. Yeah. National Guard. Bomb them. Yeah. Yeah, the President of the United States. On December 2nd, Trump announced plans to send troops to New Orleans. On November 15th, ICE was here in Charlotte-Raleigh area. And December 3rd in Minnesota. Or Minneapolis. No, these are just the ones that have happened. We will do a special podcast and send it out to everybody and do flyers and everything. We're so getting taken down. Now, if I remember correctly, the Supreme Court did recently tell Trump to F off about deploying National Guard to, what was it, Chicago and somewhere else? If I remember correctly, they basically said, no, that's not allowed. So even the Supreme Court is smacking back, and one of the Supreme Court, I can't remember which one it was, basically said, Trump, if you really, really want to do this, institute the Insurrection Act. Remember that thing we've talked about like a number of different times? No, the Insurrection Act. So the Insurrection Act is if the people get too rowdy, they can do the Insurrection Act and deploy the military against the general populace outside of the efforts for crime. But, I mean, they've already deployed the National Guard to D.C., and they were out there picking up trash, so what are you going to do? All right, next one's the spicy one. Charlie Kirk. gets assassinated at a college event. The country goes into shock. Right-wing media turns him into a martyr, and everyone starts pointing the finger over who created this climate. Well, hold on. There's a comment that I heard. Now, this isn't mine. I'm not creating this. He has been the most epic loss of the gun rights battle. The debate on gun laws, he is the proof in the pudding in what lost the debate. Because if you remember, and anybody who disagrees with this, feel free to go look it up. But there is a direct quote about him saying it's okay for guns, even if some people die, because that's part of the equation. So, like, he lived his, and I'm not saying if it's right or wrong. I don't think he should have been assassinated. I think that's a horrible thing. No deaths by violence for political reasons. Anti that. But I do feel like the irony is hard to palate on that one. All right, tinfoil hat. I won't forget his comments about how black people should never have been allowed the right to vote or own property. Oh, wait, tinfoil hat time. Tinfoil hat time. There was a picture of somebody that looked just like him out at a dinner somewhere in Europe. There's a picture of somebody that looks just like Charlie Kirk out at a restaurant somewhere in Europe. And people are thinking he survived. I mean, his wife doesn't, I have yet to see his wife cry. And granted, I haven't watched much, but I sure have seen her hugging on people pretty hard. Talking about how Vance would be the perfect next husband and begging for money and trying to take over Charlie Kirk's job. But yeah, the theory, these are not my theories. These are just the ones I heard, that he's not dead. That was all staged. CIA set that up to make him a martyr so the Republicans could then use this as fuel for the Insurrection Act or other things. But the problem is the person that they pointed the finger at was one of them. So that didn't help. Man, what do you think? Man, she's interesting, I will say. She's like the anti-MAGA version of Joe Rogan in my mind. So there's a quote I really want to bring back to the surface so that it's fresh. And it is, a shutdown means the president is weak. A government shutdown, it falls on the president's lack of leadership. So, I mean, who am I quoting? Who put those two quotes out? That if the government shuts down, the president's weak and lacks leadership, it should be replaced. Exactly. 20 take YouTube down. Good luck with that, bud. Oh man. So yeah. And now it's been, and then we had the government shutdown, and the shutdown kept going and kept going. Finger pointing got bad. Republicans said it was those damn dirty Democrats and they're hurting you and they're evil and we should. And they talked about hurting Democrats. They said it should do some really bad stuff to Democrats, locking them up, kicking them out of the country, all that kind of stuff. Yeah. And I just want to remind everybody, who is in control of the White House? Republicans. Who's in control of the House? Republicans. Who's in control of the Senate? Republicans. Who's in charge of the Supreme Court? So what is happening here? Because you know what they did do? They got a bunch of judges in office by overriding the Democrats and doing it anyway. They override the Democrats and did other stuff. They did all sorts of different things that wasn't the budget. So could they have passed a budget on their own? Yes. And you know who told us that? Republicans. So Republicans said that Republicans could have passed a Republican budget. Republican. I'm not seeing where it's the Democrats' fault in this. So let's fast forward. What did Republicans agree to so that Democrats would cross the line and vote? What about healthcare? Well, no. They didn't promise to extend it. What did they actually promise? A vote to extend it. They promised that they would have a vote to extend it. And guess what they didn't do? So ACA tax credits expiring, wasn't in the budget. They shot it down, promised a vote, delayed the vote, then voted against it. So I'm going to go back to my thing a minute ago. White House, Senate, Supreme Court voted against ACA. Whose fault is the ACA expiring? So everybody out there that's on ACA that's getting triple, quadruple pricing, you know who to blame. And it ain't the dirty Democrats. Yeah. The fact that Fox News shows him at less than 30% approval pretty much says everything. No, not really. That's not what I'm predicting. I have a suspicion, but I can hold off till the end. We can put my tinfoil hat back on at the end. So, yeah, so November elections, and I think this is going to start alluding to what I was talking about. In a bunch of off-year races, voters quietly flip key Senate seats or key seats blue. It's not a presidential year, but it feels like the first real report card on Trump 2.0. And I think that's what the Republicans have been screaming about is all of the candidates that Trump back lost or barely won. It's almost like a stain on your ticket now to have him endorse you. He's threatening the ones that aren't doing what he wants. So even if you're in the party trying to help, you're now subject to, what do you call it? When they hire somebody to come in and challenge you in the voting, what is it? Primary you. They're going to primary him. But I think the Americans are kind of saying what I was going to allude to in the next thing, and which is the same thing that Mike Johnson has been talking about. He was saying, if we don't change our tune, Trump's going to get impeached, blah, blah, blah. So, and that's what Nancy Pelosi and a bunch of others have all said in MTG. Yeah. So we'll see. Great question. All right. December, Republicans start whispering about 2026 and future JD Vance while also wondering if they push too far this first year. The cracks inside the party are there if you look closely. Yeah, and there's reports coming out that there's not enough support for JD Vance to run for next election, and there's not even enough support for him to take over from Trump. They're talking about getting rid of him now with Trump. And for all those curious what I just meant, do you remember what happened when they impeached Nixon? Who did they go after first? The vice president. So they got rid of the vice president, and then they went after Nixon, and he resigned. So, yeah. And in this situation, if enough Democrats and enough Republicans cross the aisle, which is what we're starting to see in real time, because Republicans have realized, oh, shit, if I stay in this train, I'm toast. Either because their career is over or the country's over, to like their ability to make money in this country is over. And so a lot of Republicans are like, you just named, like Tucker Carlson is going against Trump, Ben Shapiro, and then there was like three other huge, and I was thinking, who's the guy that got just outed by Epstein? The guy that Trump pardoned in his first term, that went to jail and Trump pardoned him. No, the big fat guy with gray hair. Yeah, even Bannon's starting to turn on him. And I'm like, Bannon's turning on him? Holy shit. And then, like, a lot of the other talking heads have just been destroyed. What was the guy with the cap that was the huge pro-MAGA during Trump's run-up? He always wore like a beanie thing. I forget his name. He got busted for being a Russian propaganda piece. Like, he got outed. Yeah. A witting Russian agent. Like, he was getting paid by an intermediary company that was run by people in the U.S. that was acting as a media liaison, but the money for that was coming directly from Russia with Russian talking points. And this guy would be using these talking points to help Trump and try to hurt Ukraine and be pro-Russia. And this is his talking points. And it wasn't just him. There was plenty of pro-MAGA people. And recently, Twitter had that find my location or where am I originating from? Did you see that? So, yeah. So if you went to a Twitter profile, say, oh, this person's located in this place. And it was like all the pro-MAGAs were like South Africa, Russia, like some really Saudi Arabia. Like it was some crazy shit. Yeah, like what? Well, we're also starting to see an uprising. Like the voting is showing, the protests are showing this shit's run its course. They have realized that Republicans and the 2025 agenda and Trump party don't know what the fuck they're doing on any regard, and it's killing them. Figuratively or literally. Epstein, -5 out of 10. Yeah, this is like, we're in negative territory. So if you think about where we are. We have the largest national debt that has ever existed for this country, and it's growing at such an exponential rate, we don't know what we're doing. Unemployment is exploding. American citizens are being hunted in the streets. We have military and ICE just beating the shit out of and arresting American citizens and are fearful of going out. Businesses are going bankrupt at a record speed we haven't seen since the Great Depression. Wealth inequality is the largest it's been since before World War One. I don't think the wealth inequality metric that I saw was worse than the French Revolution. So it's literally the worst it has probably been since the Third Reich was in charge. We have numerous court filings saying that the Trump administration is doing illegal stuff. American citizens and non-American citizens are literally just disappearing or dying. American citizens are being threatened with guns while just driving down the street. Let's see, the stock market is just an absolute incorrigible mess. There's numerous implications of market manipulation by this administration and bribery and using laws to make themselves money. Trump has earned what, 6.3 billion just based on a few different things he's done in 11 months. Gaza is a disaster, but apparently it's I read somewhere today that the cleansing is making it easier for them to build a Trump hotel and golf resort in Gaza. And then there's the one in Saudi Arabia that's happening. We have the people who attacked World Trade Center are now getting a base on U.S. soil. We are now on the Human Rights Watch list. The ICC, the International Crime Coalition, or whatever that's called, is looking to arrest Trump. Ukrainian war. We are not supporting the Ukrainian war anymore, and Russia is getting more powerful by the day. China is poised to attack Taiwan because we don't give a shit anymore. Wars are breaking out everywhere. Numerous countries have been spinning up and preparing nuclear weapons like never before. North Korea has been firing nuclear-capable weapons, and before anybody says, oh, they can't develop nukes, yeah, but Russia can, and Russia and North Korea have made a deal, exchanging troops for technology. There's no reason to believe that right now North Korea doesn't have a nuclear weapon. Now, let's see what else. We have no idea what's going to happen tomorrow because it's everything. And then, on top of everything that we just talked about, Epstein. Go for it. And then I'll add a few things on the end. So the angle I've been paying the most attention to is the fact that the redactions were done incorrectly. And people were able to take these documents, these digital documents, and copy and paste through Control A, Control C, Control V, and get the unredacted content of these supposedly redacted documents. And while we couldn't do that with pictures, being able to do that with text is significant. The amount of stuff, and even if you just look at the redacted and don't try to do anything, Trump's still fucking in them. He's still, like, they didn't even get all of his like call outs. At the end of one of the documents, I read the line, Trump's right there. And complicit in a crime. So yeah, and I don't want. Let's do a different one about how I think all this threads through now that we have the new evidence. So let's do a different video another day for that. I just want to end this with one thing. I have read the document where they discuss this, and I've read the unredacted part. Out of everything we've talked about and how hard it's been and how hurt Americans are, the fact that I know that this is in the Epstein files and it's been released and it's public domain now hurts my heart that this isn't the pitchforks time to go after our government for protecting him for what he did. And you heard about the baby thing? Trump was there when a baby was murdered that was the child of a rape of a young kid. Trump was there and watched the murder of a baby, a newborn baby, like minutes or hours old. Yeah, here's my problem. Like, MAGA, if you're okay with Trump literally being present, watching, maybe even enjoying the murder of babies, I don't know that we have anything left to argue, discuss. If of everything I've heard out of this Epstein stuff, that was the most disgusting that I have seen yet. And I mean, I don't know what else you could say. Like all his trade policies, all his ICE deployment, like, yeah, that's some really bad shit. But this is kind of like he's fucking like I see him as evil. Like you can't this no, it's time. It's time, guys. It's I don't care who you are. If you're okay with this, you need help. Everybody else, it's time to go get pitchforks and torches and march and get rid of this. Maybe I don't know. So my argument here is if this thing's on fire and that thing's on fire and that thing's on fire, you go back to the where there or if you see smoke here, if you see smoke there, where you see smoke, there's fire. Guys, we're at the forest is on fire. This is a forest fire. This is not a well, this one thing. No, guys. Like the documents have very clearly showed him helping Epstein, attacking women. There's plenty of documentation, there's plenty of videos, there's plenty of affidavits, there's plenty of evidence that he abused underage girls in numerous times in numerous locations, and it's fully documented. There's plenty of plenty of knowledge about him getting money through Russia to Epstein and from, and helping with the business dealings and helping support this human trafficking and human abuse and murder industry that Epstein was running. Like, no, like, come on, man. Like, how many of these do you have to walk away from before you realize that there's just too much? Like, and it's his government that released it. It's his people that released this. This isn't the damn dirty Democrats that released this. They released it. And you know what? If you want to say it's all a big conspiracy, then why are you calling for the arrest of Bill Clinton? Why are you watching Trump say, hey, let's go hurt the Democrats. Let's go release all the Democrats' names and hurt them and let's lock them up for being on this in these documents? Then why is it the Democrats are the bad people, even though Trump's name is the one that's in there a billion times? Why are you okay with spending millions of dollars and locking up a whole government agency to redact this poorly all these documents if it's a conspiracy theory? Like, come on, guys, this is shit. Yeah, man, if there's a child rapist in the Democratic Party, prosecute him. Go for it. Trump assassination attempt number 1, MAGA. Trump assassination attempt number 2, MAGA. Trump assassination attempt number 3, MAGA. White House attack, MAGA. Charlie Kirk, MAGA. Come on, guys. We know who the violent. Minnesota senator and family, MAGA. Pelosi's husband, MAGA. It's not that complicated, people. If the Nazis and the violence are in your party, you have to wonder what your party's like. Good luck, snowflakes.